Hello, and thanks for tuning in for our gentle yoga practice today. My name is Susan, and for our practice today, we'll be using mantra and mudra. So, a mantra is basically an instrument that we use to quiet the mind, and mudra is a gesture that we would use typically with the hands to help kind of direct the flow of energy in the body, much like you'd use jumper cables in a car or when your battery dies, right? So when we're moving throughout our day, our brain is very busy, right? It's always thinking thoughts or memories or reliving or lists. And much is the same when we come to our yoga mat and we are doing our meditation or our mindfulness practice. The mind is still really busy, right? Like you might close your eyes and all of a sudden it's like you've got this flurry of ideas and thoughts. One great tool to use is mantra, and it's basically just using a sound, a phrase, or a word to consciously give something to the mind to attach to so that it can't think all of the thoughts and get really busy. So we're going to use that today and throughout our practice. We'll also be closing with about a seven to 8 minute meditation where we will use mantra and mudra. So be ready for that toward the end of class. Go ahead and just take a comfortable seat, sit up tall, and cross the legs. Hands can rest on the thighs or in the lap. Let's take a full deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, sigh the breath out. And again, full deep breath in. Exhale, sigh the breath out, just letting go of all the things that have held your attention from your day so far. If it's comfortable, let your eyes softly close. And as the eyes close, what happens? The eyes close and we need to orient ourselves. So maybe you first tune into sound. Maybe you're tuning into the physical body. Maybe the places where your body connects with the earth or the surface that you're sitting on. Maybe you tune into emotions or thoughts. Maybe you check out all of these things, right? Just kind of do a big scan. Just get an overall sense of the feeling tone of being you right now in this moment. Let your awareness now shift to your breath. Now, there's a lot of different things that we could pay attention to about the breath. You know, the physicality of the expansion and contraction of the body, maybe the sensation of the breath at the nostrils. Today, let's focus on the sound of the breath. So as you're inhaling, you might begin to hear the sound of so. And as you exhale, hum. So, hum. So hum is a Sanskrit word that translates as I am or I am that. And typically in yoga philosophy, it's thought of as or interpreted as kind of like our connection to everything outside of our body, right? That collective consciousness, whatever it is that you believe. Today, we'll use the So-Hum mantra, which is the mantra of the breath, right? If this is the sound the breath makes, this is a mantra that your body has been reciting and repeating since your very first breath, right? I am. We'll expand on that a little bit today, and I'll invite you to also set your own intention word. Maybe there's a quality or a characteristic that you're cultivating in your life. Maybe that's patience or compassion or love or flexibility or whatever it happens to be. And as you continue to watch the breath during our practice, as you inhale, I am, and as you exhale, float your intention word. So using the example of peace, as I inhale, I am, and exhale, peace. And we'll use this to help keep the mind quieter and also keep us present during our practice. So anytime that you notice that your mind has gotten distracted, you've started the list or the memory, just acknowledge that it's happened and gently and kindly bring yourself back to your mantra, I am peace, or inserting your own word, your own intention. Consciously inserting our intention into our thoughts. Rather than just letting the thoughts go as they go, we're training the mind. The mantra is the instrument to train the mind. Beautiful. Let's blink your eyes open and go ahead and come off of your seat. And if you're sitting on a cushion or anything, you can just set that off to the side. Let's come on over onto hands and knees, please. Let's start some warm-up activities here. Coming onto all fours, placing hands right underneath the shoulders. Spread those fingertips out wide. Knees are under the hips. Let's take cow pose. So as you inhale, tilt the tailbone up, the belly drops, chest open. You can turn your gaze and look up. And then as you exhale, tuck the tailbone and round the spine. Inhale, arching the spine, cow pose, look up. Exhale, round, push the floor away. Let's take 3 more of these. Inhaling cow and exhaling cat. Start flowing with your breath. When you're flowing with the breath, watch the breath and insert your mantra. And let's inhale back to a neutral spine. Now send your left hip out to the left. And then bring it back to center. Take the right hip out to the right. Just kind of pushing against the edges, stretching out into the hips slightly. So the next time your hips both go to the right, or excuse me, to the left, then sink your hips back toward your heels. We'll start a big circle here. Then to the right, and then we go back left, behind, and to the right. So let's take 2 circles the other direction. So go to the right, go back, and to the left. Right, back, and left. Good, all the way back to center. Let's take the hips back to the heels now for balasana or child's pose. If it's comfortable, let the forehead come all the way to the floor. And you can bring the arms back by your feet, just pausing for a moment. Feel free to empty the wrists here. Just make a soft fist and roll the wrists. A little extra blood flow there. You can open and close the hands a couple of times. And please extend your arms back up overhead once more if you brought them back by the feet. And let's return to all fours. But from all fours, curl your toes under now. So toes curl under. Inhale here on all fours. And as you exhale, send the hips back. Good. Inhale. Forward, shoulders over the wrists, and then exhale back. Let's do that one more time. Just waking things up, shoulders, hips, bottoms of the feet, preparing for bigger movements in a moment. Let's inhale, shift forward, uncurl the toes. Now take your right foot and step your right foot forward between the hands. So my hands are on either side of the front foot. You could certainly have both hands inside the knee, right? If that works better for your body. And let's inhale, get really long in the spine, look forward, look up. And as you exhale, shift the hips back, lengthening out over the right leg. So we'll flow with the breath again. Inhale and exhale. And with this dynamic movement, call back your mantra. I am. Let's inhale, rebend the right knee, stay here, lengthen the spine. We'll stay here just a couple of breaths. So from dynamic movement to stillness. So the right foot is heavy, the top of the left foot is heavy, legs are active. Good, the spine is long, always shoulders away from your ears. Take one breath more here. And then let's exhale, shift the hips back, re-extend the right leg. Now we'll hold here for a couple of breaths. Feel free to keep the sole of the foot down or flex the foot, drawing the toes towards you. Good, one breath more. And then inhale, shift forward again, rebend the knee, then take the right leg back and return to child's pose. Just pausing in child's pose for a moment, noticing what you notice. After taking those postures and dynamic movement on just one side. Let's inhale, back up to all fours. Take cow and cat twice. So inhale, cow pose, exhale, cat. Cow pose on the inhale and cat on the exhale. Inhale to neutral spine, and now take the left foot, step it forward, bringing it forward to about where the hands are. Again, hands can be on either side of the front foot or both inside the knee. Doesn't matter so much. Just find what works in your body. If you have yoga blocks, and it mentioned it on the other side, but you can certainly have your yoga blocks right here underneath the hands as well. So let's go back to the dynamic movement first. All right. So inhale, look forward, lengthen. As you exhale, shift the hips back and then lengthen the left leg out in front of you. Good. Inhale, forward, look up. Exhale, shift back. Good. Return to your mantra. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, I am. Exhale, your intention. And the next time you have the left knee bent and your forward, stay there. We'll stay a couple of breaths, long spine. I always find, and maybe you're finding this as well, that as soon as we become still and we're holding the posture, it's a lot more challenging. That's when the mind really starts to get busy, right? When we're moving, part of our attention, our awareness is focused on the movement and making sure our body parts are in the right place, right? And all that kind of stuff. When we're still, that's when the mantra really does come in handy. All right, let's shift the hips back and lengthen the left leg out now. We'll hold this posture, a few breaths. Inhale, rebend the left knee and take the left leg back. Return to child's pose just for a moment, a couple of breaths. Again, if it's comfortable, let the forehead rest down. Hands can come alongside the feet. Please come back up onto all fours. So we do a little spinal balance here. So from all fours, find a neutral spine. So the back's not arched or rounded, right? We're right about in the middle. And the low belly is lifting. Take your right arm, extend your right arm forward. So you might start with fingertips on the floor. And then can you extend the left leg back? Stamp the toes down. Good. Now, maybe you lift the leg. Maybe you lift the arm. They could certainly stay down as well. Once the arm and leg lifts, if you're lifting, continue to lift the low belly, and fingertips and toes reach in opposite directions. Good. Let's exhale and set it down. Now take the left arm forward and the right leg back. Find your balance, find ground, and if and when you're ready, lift. Anytime you find yourself wandering, come back to the mantra. Is it more difficult when we're in a challenging pose or a resting pose? Just observe. Let's go back to dynamic movements. Let's take right arm and left leg and lift, and then set it down, and then left arm, right leg, and set it down. Good. Twice more on each side. Just extend, lengthen. Last one with the right arm, left leg, and then left arm, right leg. Beautiful. Set it down. Let's pick up just the right leg. Take just the right leg, extend it straight back. Bend the knee. So now sole of the foot or toes are pointing up toward the ceiling. Again, check the low belly. Keep it lifting. Now, can you take the right thigh and lift it up even higher? Like we're moving into a hip opener. So right hip stacks on top of the left, almost as if we're trying to get the right foot to the floor out on the left side of us, right? Just a little hip opener with a twist. And then let's bring the right knee all the way back down. Let's do the same on the other side. Take the left leg, extend it back, then bend the knee, and then open the hip. So left hip stacks on top of the right. Good. And exhale, rotate the hips and lower the left knee back down. Good. Curl your toes under, and we'll take a downward facing dog, hips up and back. Nice, gentle and easy. I like to, especially if it's my first down dog of the day, take the feet out just a little bit wider. Right? Just a little bit wider stance, and bend the knees a little bit more. It's lengthening into the upper body. You might pedal the knees a bit side to side, bending one knee as you lengthen into the opposite. Good. Let's look forward to the hands and slowly just walk your feet up to the top of the mat. So we're in Uttanasana, forward bend. Let's inhale, look forward, lengthen the spine. Exhale, release. Inhale, find that flat back position, half lift, and then pressing into the feet, root to rise. Bring yourself all the way up to stand and lower the arms down. Good. All right. Let's do a couple of standing postures here. Something I've been doing a lot lately in my classes, go ahead and take a wide stance on your mat. So nice, wide, long stance, and you can go sideways like I am. You probably won't need your blocks for this. We'll be doing, we will be adding triangle in here. So if you like to use a block for triangle, you might just place the blocks on either end of your mat. In fact, I'll go ahead and place them there just in case. All right, so feet are parallel. We're standing up tall. Legs are nice and wide. Let's take warrior two pose to your right, right? So we pick up the left heel, turn it back, and then take your right toes and turn them to the right. Now, with hands on the hips, note in your body whether we're keeping those hips balanced. So in our warrior postures, we don't want to necessarily let that front hip dip down. So do your best to keep the hips relatively level. All right. Now, bend the right knee just until the knee is about over the ankle. And watch where it's tracking. We want the knee to be tracking about middle toe. And you can straighten the leg and rebend it a couple of times, just kind of feeling your way in here. Notice as the weight shifts out to the right knee, right? As we bend the knee, we lose some of that energy in that ground back here in the back foot. So keep pressing pinky toe side of that back foot down. Yeah, so there's a lot more freedom up here. All right, let's hold it with the knee over the ankle. Shoulders stay down, float the arms up parallel to the floor, and gaze out past right fingertips. Good. Before we start the movement and the flow, remind yourself of your mantra. Tune into your breath. Let's take left hand to the back of the left thigh or even to the left hip. Turn your right palm up. And we'll take reverse warrior. The legs don't change, but we lift right fingertips up and back. So we get a nice side stretch. So it's a lateral bend here. Let's inhale back to warrior two. And then we'll take side angle pose or Parsva Konasana. Right elbow bends, bring the forearm down just above the knee, keeping the left side of the chest open. Now, options here. Left hand can stay down on the hip. You can bring the left arm up to the sky, or you can bring it up alongside the ear. Find something that works for you. All right, let's flow this a little bit. All right, now push in, bring yourself all the way up. As you come up, this time straighten the right leg. So almost like we're coming into triangle, right? But we're going to do reverse triangle. Left hand to the back of the leg, right arm turns up and back. Kind of like our reverse warrior, but we have two straight legs this time. All right, let's inhale back to two straight legs, two straight arms, and now Trikonasana. Right fingertips down, left up high. Beautiful. Let's return to warrior two. So rebend the right knee, arms out long, turn your gaze to the right. Now reverse warrior, left arm down, right arm lifts up and back. So the legs don't change. We still have that nice lunge on the right side. And then we return to warrior two, and then side angle pose, forearm comes down. Find where you're placing the left arm. Now we inhale, come all the way up, straighten the leg as you stretch the arms out, reverse triangle. And then triangle. Shift forward, right arm down, left arm high. Nice little dance, right? Well, let's go all the way through that one more time. Warrior two. So reset. Reverse warrior. Left arm down, right arm high. Warrior two. Side angle. All the way up, reverse triangle. So two straight legs reach back. And then triangle. Let's take both hands to the floor inside the right foot. Walk both hands around to the left and just bring yourself into a wide leg forward bend. Don't forget to pivot your feet so that our feet are back to parallel again. You can let the head weight drop down. Nice little stretch for the backs of the legs, inner thighs. Beautiful. Pick both heels up. Turn the heels in, the toes slightly out, up onto fingertips. Now transfer hands to the thighs or just above the knee, and then press yourself all the way up to stand. Yeah. Let's step or hop your feet together. We'll shake those legs out before we move around to do that on side two. So if you used props or make sure you have that on the other side. All right, let's take our legs back out to that wide variation. So nice wide legs. Starting with the feet parallel, pick up your right heel now, turn your right heel back, and then take your left toes and turn your left toes to the left. And just as we did on side one, a couple of times, bend the knee and watch where it's tracking. Knee should track right over middle toe. And we don't really want to go too much farther than ankle over the knee, right? So we don't want to jet the knee so far forward we're up on the toes. We want to stay grounded. So stack the bones right there. Good. Watch the leveling of those hips as well, okay? So, all right, let's stop with the knee about over the ankle. Check that the hips are relatively level. All right, we'll float the arms up parallel to the floor. Warrior two. Good. Reset. Tune back into your breath, tune back into your mantra. And let's take our reverse warrior. Right arm to the hip or to the outside of the leg, left arm up and back. Legs don't change here, right? Back to warrior two. And then side angle pose, forearm down. Now right hand can be at the hip. You can take it straight up or you can take it along the ear. On inhalation, bring yourself all the way up, two straight arms, two straight legs, and reverse your triangle. And then triangle. Left arm down, right arm high. Back to warrior two. So rebend the knee, reset. So twice more, we'll go all the way through that little sequence. So reverse warrior first. And warrior two. Side angle, forearm down, other arm over. All the way up, two straight arms, two straight legs, reach back. And then Trikonasana, triangle pose, left arm down, right arm high. Right, warrior two. Right, so before we move through the last flow, just something to think about, right? I mentioned it in the opening, but here we're using the physical postures and the movement in the postures to create stillness in the body, right? To quiet the body, to get all the anxiety out. And then we're using the mantra to quiet the mind. All right, reverse warrior, backing up. I don't know, maybe it's helping, right? Warrior two, just another little tool. Forearm down, side angle. And then back up, two straight arms, two straight legs, reverse triangle. And triangle, left arm down, right arm high. Good, right hand comes to the floor. Walk the hands around to the right. Pivot your feet and wide leg forward bend. A couple breaths more here. And on inhale, come up onto fingertips, heels in, toes out, little bend in the knee. Hands can transfer up to the knees, long spine, and then press down, lift up. Beautiful. Turn your feet back to parallel, step or hop those feet together. And let's come all the way down onto our mats now. In fact, stay facing the long edge of your mat for me. We'll do a twist. A twist and a hip opener. It's kind of a lot combined all into one. So facing the long edge of your mat, take both of your legs and zigzag them off to the left. So the shape of my legs is kind of like a little pinwheel, something like that. Now take your hands and bring your hands to the outside of your right thigh. So we're twisting around to the right. Now, we'll be here for a little bit, so if you brought any props along with you today, sometimes it's nice to bring these props in. So just as an example, I'm going to stack a couple of things over here. Now, the stack that I have, and of course, you don't have to have a prop for this. You could just have hands on the ground. Lengthen the spine, and you can bring belly and chest down to just rest here. It's kind of nice. You could just simply take forearms to the floor, or maybe bring elbows or forearms onto something. Just depends on how restorative you want your practice to be today, or maybe also what you have around you and available. So what I love about this is there's just so much going on with this this upright twist. We've got internal rotation of one hip, external rotation of the other hip, plus we get a nice twist through the spine. Let's take about 4 more breaths here. So if you brought yourself down to elbows or forearms, straighten the arms, press yourself all the way upright. A little shift now. We'll keep the right knee bent, extend your left leg out long. So we'll just transition to Janu Shirshasana. So left leg extended, right knee bent, bottom of the right foot is to the inside of the left thigh somewhere. If the back of your left thigh is really feeling tight today, a great use of your blanket as an option is just to roll that up and place it underneath the knee. Or please bend that knee as much as you like. We're going to be kind of active in our stretch today. So we're not going into yin, where we're completely relaxing everything. We're going to keep it active. So keep the left toes drawing towards you. That'll keep this leg active and grounded. And then even though much of the focus will be on the extended leg, don't forget about the bent knee, right? If we're not resting on the ground, another use of a prop is to place something under there, kind of wedge it under to give yourself a sense of grounding through the right thigh as well. And I'll let you decide in your body where you fold. You could kind of fold into the space between the legs, or you could turn over the left leg and fold over it. They'll each provide a little bit different experience. So experiment and see what feels right for you today. And then we'll hang out there. So once you make your choice, just hold this posture, finding some stillness. But even in the stillness, there's movement, right? There's movement in the breath. And there's definitely some movement in the mind. So come back to the sound of the breath. Come back to your mantra. Let's take 3 more breaths here. And slowly start to bring yourself all the way up. Now let's take 2 straight legs, or straight-ish. Remember, can keep as much bend in the knees as you like. If you're using that little blanket roll, feel free to bring that right underneath the backs of the knees. Again, active variation of the pose. So we're going to keep the legs active, toes towards you, thighs grounded, sit bones grounded, lengthen the spine, and to any degree, stretch the upper body forward, just folding over the legs. Let's take 5 breaths here. And on inhale, slowly bring yourself all the way up. All right. Turn yourself back toward the long edge of your mat. So I'm about in the middle. Now, take both legs and zigzag them off to the right. So again, looking for about that kind of pinwheel shape of the legs. Both hands come to the outside of the left thigh. Extend the spine, lengthen. Either walk the hands forward, staying up on the arms, bring the forearms to the floor or to a block or bolster or cushion. Settle in, soften in here. 3 breaths more. And there to bring yourself back up onto the hands. Bring yourself upright. Now the left knee stays bent and the right one extends. Take a moment, decide where you want to stretch on this one, right? Whether you're going to go over the leg or into the space. Settle in. Remember, we're keeping the legs pretty active here to continue with a sense of grounding. Staying tuned in to the sound of the breath as well as your mantra. Good, one more breath here. And on inhale, slowly start to bring yourself upright and returning to Paschimottanasana, or 2 straight legs forward fold. Up tall. Exhale and reach over the legs. Two more breaths here. Use the strength of the arms. Bring yourself all the way upright. And go ahead and scoot yourself a little bit forward on your mat and lie all the way down onto your backs. We'll take a brief Shavasana before I bring you back up for our final meditation. But before that, just extend the legs, bring the arms by your sides. If it's comfortable, soften and close your eyes. And as the eyes close and your attention turns in, notice again what you notice. What is it now to be in this body in this moment? Bring your awareness back once more to your breath, to the sound of the breath, and to your mantra. Let's take a deeper breath in now. You can take a stretch, maybe wiggle fingers and toes. Eventually, you're going to make your way all the way up to sit. So I told you we were just doing a little brief Shavasana. Come to sit. So I'm going to sit up on a cushion. You certainly don't need to come to any comfortable seated position. In fact, sitting up in a chair is also nice for this. So this particular meditation practice is many thousands of years old, and we'll use mantra and mudra, right? So the mantra, we'll use the hand, we'll kind of link it all together. So with the hands lifted, we take thumb and index finger, we say sa, thumb and middle finger, ta, thumb and ring finger, na, thumb and pinky finger, ma. So sa, ta, na, ma. So there's a lot of different interpretations as to what the satanama represent. So I've heard, and maybe it's a little bit of all of them as well, the cycle of life, life, death, or birth, life, death, and rebirth. Some associate it with elements of air, space, earth, and water, or maybe with the traits, the characteristics of knowledge, patience, I need that one a lot, vitality and vigor with the ring finger, or communication and clear communication with the pinky finger. So remember that I said earlier, mudras are a little bit like jumper cables for the energy that kind of resides in our body. So if you think about it that way, those particular parts of the mudra represent the characteristics or qualities of that energy, right? So we've got knowledge, patience, vitality and vigor, and communication. Or you could just satanama. All right. Now, here's how this works. So this, and I will be using my timer for it. It is 6 minutes long. So we do 1 minute out loud, 1 minute in a whisper, 2 minutes complete silence. You're just repeating it silently in your head. Then we come back to a whisper and back to out loud, and then we complete. All right. It's also a little bit sing-songy. So it kind of goes like this. Satanama. 2 notes, right? Really easy. Satanama. All right. So that's all it is. You can have eyes open or closed during this. And although I'm going to start with the hands up and lifted, feel free to bring the hands down onto the lap if that's easier for shoulders, right? Arms get a little bit tired sometimes. All right. So let's begin. Satanama. 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 Now whisper. Satanama. 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 Now silently. Whisper. Satanama. 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 Out loud. Satanama. 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 One more. Satanama. Take a big inhale, stretch the arms up overhead, and then wiggle the fingers, wiggle the hands. Exhale. And lower the arms all the way down. Let the hands rest on the thighs. And just for a moment, stay tuned in. Tune in one more time to the effects of that practice. Not only our final meditation, but the practice as a whole. Right? Using mantra, mudra, and asana to quiet and connect both body and mind. Mm. Let's join hands in Anjali Mudra, palm against palm in front of the heart, bowing chin to your chest. And a gesture of gratitude, always closing with a little gratitude. Gratitude to yourself for taking this time for you today. And as always, I thank you for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste.